Okay, so I've been wanting to get this video out for like a week, but I've gotten a second job and it's been kind of hard to record videos when you're so tired and always doing all this other shit with your two jobs. So, yeah, I guess I'm doing this topic a little late. I'm gonna be covering Bad Bunny Nicole today because I think she is a grifting piece of shit. I have a couple of red flags which will show why I think that. She talks about how like gender is a choice and stuff, and you can read the tweets for yourself because I'm not going to read it all out again. I've been trying to record this like 3 times, but I'm just going to point out a couple of things which come across as very sus. The origin of being gay isn't a choice, is to force homophobes to tolerate gay people, and is to showcase the absurdity of conversion therapy. It's not actually reality. So basically what she's saying there is being gay is a choice, and that means conversion therapy works, and I ended up pushing back on this. So I said, wouldn't that mean there's a possibility of some credibility to the idea of conversion therapy if the case is that being gay is a choice? And then she doesn't actually answer the question. She goes, oh, it's wrong because it's bad and it's inhumane and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I agree, but is it actually a choice? And if it's a choice, does it actually work then? Is there some credibility to the idea that conversion therapy will work since being gay, since choosing your gender is a choice? And she backpedals after blatantly saying just yes, by saying here choice indicates not a wholly intentional decision, but instead a culmination of lived experiences. Basically, she's saying now that it's not a choice, but rather something you develop over time, which, yeah, sure, I don't disagree that your sexuality or your gender may change over your life, but that's not a choice. A choice is a conscious decision you make. And she's basically saying it is, and had to backpedal after I called her out and pushed back on it a little bit. Anyways, to the next thing, I ended up finding out she is a friend of Mel, Chaos's Mel, the genocide bad person. I even showed her this because she was talking about like how Marxist-Leninist tankies are bad, and she was like, is this really true that MLs and MLMs are bad people? And I basically told her, yeah. I pointed out Mel, and it turns out she's actually friends with her. Mel and I are Twitter friends, and she's always been nice to me. Very weird that you're friends with a person who denies the Uyghur, I think it's Uyghur, that's how you pronounce it, genocide in China, and then she's also friends with the same person that calls black people the blacks. Yeah, that shit really upsets me. I don't understand it, and I really don't understand how I could be accused of racism. I don't know. I'm not sure if she's referring to herself or Mel there. I'm not sure if that was a typo or not, but she's still friends with this person even after denying genocide in China. And the same person who said this. So that is really fucking sus that she's still friends with the tanky. Anyways, next tweet. She basically goes off about King Pride and stuff. We end up talking a little bit, blah blah blah. She talks about how she's to radicalize a lot of people, including Trump supporters, but it took literal years, and it only worked because they were already willing to listen to what I had to say, among other factors. Then I saw an epic debate, bro, so I'm now a Nazi is fake. You can be convinced to change your political ideology in a pretty short time if you're open to being debunked by like actual facts and logic. If it takes you like 10-20 years to go from like left to right or right to left, I genuinely think you are pretty fucking stupid. But she ended up going off about that, which is very weird. We end up getting into Twitter beef about because this was after I had a big argument with her. I forget. I think it was about, the previous argument was the conversion therapy thing. I end up talking to her again, and she literally just says I'm not pro-LGBT because I was mean to her queer friend, who was a fucking idiot, by the way, and super bad faith, and playing devil's advocate for conversion therapy. Like, no, I wasn't. You saw the wording. I said, wouldn't that mean there's some credibility to the idea of conversion therapy by your logic? Like, that's extremely bad faith to frame it as if I was playing devil's advocate on it, let alone in a positive light. And then she talks about how I was still arguing about kink at Pride, even though she was the one that started the discourse about it. Shout out to all the people still trying to complain about kink at Pride after the month is over. She's the one that started it under the thread when I'm talking about it, which is why I brought that up earlier. But anyways, I end up talking to her a little bit more, and she basically just proves she is a super fucking bad faith moron. So I basically said I was playing devil's advocate on conversion therapy because that person argued that gender is a choice and choices are made consciously, which means conversion therapy can work by your logic. You're so bad faith, I said. And then she ends up trying to pretend to start a conversation, and I actually do try to start a conversation. Okay, so do you want to talk about the idea of gender being a choice, blah, blah, blah. But then she goes, I don't feel de-radicalized, I'm going to stay bad faith. So basically she admits she's not open to discussion, even though back in 2020, she was open to discussion. She wants to communicate, she said back in 2020, but apparently not. I don't know what's gone into her since then. Oh wait, actually I do. It's more likely because she's a fucking grifter. Let's go on to the next part. And then she goes off on Dylan Burns just recently, about, let me see. Yeah, actually just around a week ago, she goes on off about him because he made a little bit of a meanie joke about Destiny under a tweet about mental health and stuff. She blocked him, goes after his suicide and his credibility as a leftist, and he ended up going off on her on the stream, which was really good. But basically, to keep it short, he's a consultant and advisor to I believe it was a campaign for somebody in a state, which they won. He's really beneficial for the left, and he's actually made positive change and he basically pointed out how Bad Bunny is a fucking idiot who just sits there soaking up Twitch primes and shit, which is completely true. She doesn't have any place to talk about other people's positivity to the left, like what they contribute and stuff, because she contributes literally nothing whatsoever. Anyways, then we see that she used slurs back in 2020. Unless she identifies as a dirtbag leftist, this is extremely red flaggy. And not to mention, look at this. Her name was Blue at the time, which I gotta assume means she's left wing, because in another tweet I'm about to show you, in another screenshot I'm about to show you, I have her name in red, which is basically gonna blow this whole thing out of the water about her being a grifter. She says, I should probably censor this, but she says, FYI, I hate blacks, I lynch black people for fun, but you're a sand, And she said this in 2020 when she was apparently a leftist. Very, very weird. And then lastly, one of the last things I'll cover is this tweet, these messages I end up talking about with this person who is a Muslim that Bad Bunny kicked out of her community because, let's see, just to make sure, at some point this person shows her some religious text, and she ends up getting angry about the religious text and kicks out this person, kicks out this Muslim for wanting to talk to her about talking to her about the Constitution of Medina. This is the same lady, by the way, who said they need to communicate. And this is the same person who said that. And then another red flag, if all this stuff wasn't enough, is what she said about black bisexual women. Let's just see it real quick.
Attracted or I'm not attracted. Obviously, if it's obviously there could be exceptions to all you super literal nerds out there, but I don't if a guy's having sex with other guys and then he's like, oh, maybe I'll try having sex with you, I'm like, racist and sexist, please don't say that. Even black people. If you found me a black bisexual man, I might throw up in my mouth at the thought of sexual contact with him.
Oof.
But
very fucking sus there, Bad
not
Bunny.
every black bisexual I throw up in my mouth at the sight of. Just like, you know. We're talking sexually. Obviously. Okay. For the most part, it is to connect with a community of people who are empathetic and understanding to be breezy. You can't hate gay people anymore. Why not? I want to hate whoever the fuck I want to hate. I want to hate a person because they're wearing Crocs. Why can't I hate a person because of whatever else trivial reason?
Ooh, she caught herself. She was about to say being gay. Why can't I hate people for being gay? I guarantee that's what she was gonna say. And she caught herself at like the last second. When I first saw this like a few days ago, my jaw dropped. Like, this lady's supposed to be like a super good left winger. She's a walking straw man of what the right perceives a feminist to be, and it's fucking ridiculous, right? And then the last thing I see, which is absolutely hilarious, I'm gonna drag it in, which is what convinced me that this person is a fucking grifter. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna drag it right over here. Boop, boop. I got a second monitor, by the way, which is really cool. Which I'm now able to drag stuff in, which is probably gonna be utilized in more videos. So this is back from 2019, and you can see her name was in the red, by the way, which pretty much means she must have been right wing at this time. So let's see, guys, how fun would it be if I went full lefty for a while just to see where it goes? Her friend says, to be honest, it would be better to have the bot do it. I feel like I could keep up the act for at least a month. Very odd that her name was in the red, was colored red at the time of writing. What if I pretended to be a leftist for a while? Like, I really don't have much else to say at that, because she's basically, this was apparently before she became a left wing. I don't know the entire timeline of her political journey, but I think the color coding of the names that we have here should make it pretty obvious that blue means leftist, blue means Democrat, or left winger, but red means right. Like, this is extremely fucking suspicious. And this is what basically makes me think she's a grifter. All these things by themselves probably wouldn't make me think she's a grifter, but when you take everything together and take it into context of her literally saying, what if I pretended to be a leftist back in 2019, it looks extremely, extremely, extremely suspicious. And that's why I think she is a grifter, and I don't really have much more to say about that. So, anyways, kind of wanted to get that off my chest because she ended up pissing me off by claiming I wasn't de-radicalized. She claimed I tried to play devil's advocate on conversion therapy, and claimed I was still talking about kink at Pride, even though she was the one that started it. Those things that she said to me and tried to paint me out as if I'm still like a fascist, still part of the alt-right. Like, she's just an idiot all around, honestly. It sucks to see because she was pretty nice to me at first. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Just pretty disappointed in her after all this. Disappointed that we have another fox aggressive on the loose. Thank goodness nobody takes her seriously, though. Even those on the left don't take her seriously, except Mike from PA, who gets all tingly over her. Anyways, that's it.